Hello everyone, today is third day of Bitcoin conference in San Jose, California. It's May 19th, 2013. And here we have another sponsor of Bitcoin conference. He is Zach Harvey from Lamassu.
Right, correct.
And I already posted my pictures with a small ATM machine and everybody was wondering what is that all about. Well, might as well, Zach will tell us all about it.
So our little Bitcoin machine is a Bitcoin vending machine. You put in dollars and you get Bitcoin in return. It's a very quick and simple process. It's only 3 steps. You scan your QR code so we know where to send the money. You then put in dollar bills, anything from $1 bill to multiple notes of the hundreds, and then you just press the button and it sends you the Bitcoin directly to the address that you requested.
And I saw how that's happened because it was very easy. People just put $1 in. Right now, current rate is $122.82.
Right around there. Yeah,
And
it's always changing.
It's always changing. And how do you keep track of the trading of the?
Well, part of what the machine does is it's always tracking the price. So we decided to track the Mt. Gox price. We added a 1% commission just to kind of balance our costs. We don't want to lose money on this. And it's just currently, it's always updating.
So when you receive in that tiny little machine, about that big, what do you do with the money? Do you run to the bank or?
Well, it's cash, so you can either put it in the bank and buy more Bitcoin, or maybe someone here wants to exchange, wants dollars and wants to sell Bitcoin. We've been doing a bit of both.
Right, but you said that you cannot get the cash out of that machine. How does that work?
Oh, you can get the cash. I mean, anybody has access to the inside of the machine. Any operator would be able to open up the machine either with a key or an electronic lock and just take out the cash.
So those machines are good for merchants,
Right.
usually?
Well, convenience stores, merchants of bookstores, bars, restaurants, anyone that you would think that would probably want to accept Bitcoin as well. But it's possible that someone would just offer it as a service. They like Bitcoin or think that other people like Bitcoin and would want to make it easier for them to obtain Bitcoin.
Now, in terms of your company, when it was created?
We started up the idea of the Bitcoin machine about 6 months ago.
Wow, this is all fresh, unbelievable.
It's extremely fresh. We moved pretty quickly on that and got a concept prototype for about 3 months ago. That was still a wooden box, an orange wooden box with lots of hardware spilling out from the back. And since then, we've been working tirelessly to get to this production model, which we think is very close to producing on a mass level.
So you are located in the United States of America, isn't it?
Right, yes. New Hampshire's it's north of Boston, about an hour away.
So all of your machines made in America?
Well, no. The enclosure is made in Portugal, actually, and a lot of the different parts are sourced. We use a tablet for the screen that's made in China, of course. Bill acceptors, partially made in China, Japan, so everything's sourced from a different place. We may assemble it, but there's not a lot of meaning to made in the USA or made in anywhere anymore.
Right.
It doesn't really matter. It's bits and parts from everywhere.
So in terms of the security then, how secure is that for the customers?
Well, this will be an attended machine, so it will be secure. It will be secure against types of attacks, whether smash and grab, where you just want to pick the machine up or smash it with a crowbar or a baseball bat and just run away with it. You won't be able to do that. If you come in with power tools and you have an hour to work on the machine, just like anything, eventually you'll be able to get to it. But it's not. It's meant more to be kind of what you'd expect from say a cash register, maybe a bit more than that.
So it's like small ATM machine near the cashier or near some office or inside of the office where people can come in, quickly exchange what they want to do with their dollars or Bitcoins?
Or it could be in some kind of convenience, small grocery store where they just have it on the counter and people either before they pay or just as something else that they're doing, and it's an automated machine, so it's very simple and it's very quick.
So if I will be traveling from one country to another, and if I'm not American citizen, then of course it would be much easier to come in and use my Bitcoins and
exactly. Well, definitely if there are stores that accept Bitcoin, it'll be incredibly easy for anybody in the world that has Bitcoin. It's a global currency. It's one of the huge advantages of Bitcoin. But there's also an advantage of this machine if you are visiting the US and you don't want your dollars anymore because you're going back home or you use euro, and you can get rid of them. Just put them into the machine and get them right back into Bitcoin, where you can either use at home or exchange back into your local currency.
Right, so it's much easier for me then. Now, in terms of the opening accounts, do I have to have account open already before I use your machine?
It's just an email. That's not an email. It's just a Bitcoin account. That's all you need is a Bitcoin account. So all you need to do is either download an address, download the Bitcoin app depending what you're using, or Bitcoin Spinner if you have an Android, or the blockchain app if you have an iPhone, or you can just take a printed QR from your computer at home. All we want to know is what Bitcoin address to send to.
All right. And then now, I still don't get, where do you keep the money? So I know you can get access to the cash, but then you also have Bitcoins.
Right.
Do you have to have bank behind you, or are you just a transaction middle person kind of?
Well, our process doesn't need any banks of any sort. The cash goes in, and then you just take that cash and you can either use it, or if you want to deposit it into your bank account, that's obviously separate, but it's not part of the operation of the machine. And as far as getting Bitcoin, you can either get them from an exchange, such as Mt. Gox or any other exchange, or you can just have your own stash. You don't have to connect the machine directly to Mt. Gox. You can just have your own server with Bitcoins and get them from there.
Now, in terms of being a merchant and having my own business, then how would I know how many transactions have been made? Would I make any money by allowing my customers to change the money, or it's just for convenience of my customers? How does that work for the merchants?
Why would they accept Bitcoin? Is that the question?
Right. If I have my own business and you came to me and you want to buy some stuff, and here I'm giving you opportunity to use Bitcoins or not, you're going to charge me 1% for the transaction. But what about, do I gain anything out of it besides, of course, that I get the money?
Well, the Bitcoin machine wouldn't be for me something to put at a merchant's for me to profit from it. What I would do is I would sell them the machine, and then they would decide what the percentage would be. They would take that commission from their customers. Okay. So the reason for them to have the machine would be two reasons. The first reason is so they can get the fees from people exchanging cash to Bitcoin, and the second reason was that people would be able to use Bitcoin in their store, and so they wouldn't have to deal with cash as much or credit cards.
Okay, so I hope that it's one big transaction fee they put at the merchant store for my convenience traveling all over the globe.
Well, it would really depend what store you go to, just like anything. Some stores are more expensive than other stores, and you decide if the convenience of it being, let's say, open at 1 o'clock in the morning, or the fact that they're really close to where you are right now, or if you want to go or if you want to drive to another grocery store that's a little cheaper.
Now, I saw people already doing transactions during the conference at your machine, and this was kind of nice to see that's in action. I thought it's just, prototype, which doesn't work, but apparently it's already working.
Right.
It's functional. So did you already sell those machines?
The machines we haven't been selling yet because we haven't produced them yet. We're going to have pre-orders available very soon, and we've already had a lot of interest.
All right, so those transactions have been happening here. Of course, they're safe, right? It's like, ooh, I can lose the money, but no.
Oh, it goes immediately to the blockchain. You don't have to even think about whether we're trustworthy or not. The second somebody puts in a transaction, it shows up on his phone. We have no control over that. So the second you see it, that's the beauty of Bitcoin. It's completely transparent. The second it's on the blockchain, people trust the blockchain. They don't have to trust us.
Right, and I also saw on the screen, it shows to them that's how much Bitcoins
we show them on the screen, and we show them a QR code that also leads to another website that's blockchain.info that's not related to us. So when we give people the information of your deal has gone through, we don't say trust us, we're saying look, it's on the blockchain. And that's the general ledger of Bitcoin where all of the transactions appear.
Now, talking about this and living in Silicon Valley and being all this in security business and covering a lot of high-tech conferences, my next question came to my mind right now. So I saw the transaction happened. Would I be able to scan their code or get their long name of account and use it later? I mean, of course I have to have PIN code and crack their password, Would it be easy to do or difficult, or you have to?
For us to use their info, I don't.
No, maybe even me standing near them.
Right.
Would it be any security needed?
The
like,
only,
you know,
right. So you're saying there's a person in front of you. They just gave their information to the machine, and it pulls it up on the screen.
Yes, and then I'm
and
watching
then,
it, and I'm like, okay, let me write it down. It's
Yeah.
like so many numbers and letters, but I'm so.
Or you could just take a photo of it.
Exactly.
Well, you could do that, but all you'd be able to do is send the money.
Ah, okay.
So you can send them as much money as you wanted,
All right.
but you couldn't do anything else. That would be their public key. That's
Okay.
everything. That's basically public. It's not that anonymous.
So it doesn't actually works for me because
No.
I have to send the money, but I cannot.
The
get
only
money.
way, right? The only way you'd be able to send money from that account is if you had their private key, which
Okay.
we never get that information.
All right. So interesting. Now, 6 months ago, where did you work before?
My brother and I had an online guitar store, sold electric guitars and guitar accessories. And
Alright.
we've always been obsessed with Bitcoin for the past 2+ years. So we were always trying to figure out what we could do. And well, here we are.
From guitar business to Bitcoin ATM machine exchange. That's kind of interesting transaction.
Right.
This is, how did you find people who help you with your idea creating this?
Well,
machine?
it may sound funny, but it's a lot of the same skills. I mean, when you have a company, you're an entrepreneur, you have to find graphic designers, you have to come up with marketing plans, you have to always find the right people to do the right job. So through all of the experience we have as entrepreneurs for our guitar business, we used a lot of those same tools for the Bitcoin ATM. So we knew how to look for designers, product designers, graphic designers. We knew what to look for in marketing. We know how to use Twitter and Facebook, and we know how to run a business. So that part is all the same. And the only difference is, okay, one is selling products we buy from someone else, and the other one is manufacturing something that's never existed before. And so that obviously is the challenge. But it's not starting from zero, it's starting from a place where there are certain things we are familiar with of running a business, and then just starting from a different starting point.
Now, yeah, being entrepreneur and having your own business, yes, it does help. Then it comes to funding as well.
Right.
Where did you come up with money?
Well, we've been bootstrapping it, so just the savings of the three of us over the years, just put in everything. And so far, so good. I mean, the next stage, people will be getting pre-orders for these machines, and we will manufacture based on this until we feel it's the right time to get investors, and we've had a lot of interest. So I think when the time comes, we'll be prepared for that.
All right, so you didn't wait for the money come in and use it as an excuse not to move forward. You have
Exactly the opposite. We really want this to move forward as fast as possible. We don't want anything holding us up. And I think as long as we know what to do and we know what the next stage is, it's better to do it on our own.
So being 6 months old and already have a product in use, tell me how many people working for you besides your 3 co-founders?
We just have the 3 co-founders, and everyone else is on contract. There are people we found an amazing designer, product designer in Portugal, graphic designers in Berlin. We have an amazing PR lady in New Hampshire, and that's our team.
Wow, that's already like global company right there.
It's completely. That's what we love. We love
So
the
you
global
have to
fleet.
pay them in bitcoins, I guess.
Well, we're trying to. The Berlin guys are signing up for BitPay account, and the product designer told us next time.
All right, so he probably prefers dollars in exchange years.
Well, he wants his euros, but that's just, he's not familiar with it yet, but I think this will give him a lot of motivation.
Yes, and you can show him videos, and also a lot of videos about bitcoins will be coming from this conference.
Right.
And it's first conference ever have been created to talk about bitcoins.
Well, there have been other conferences, but nothing on this level, nothing of this size. It's truly incredible.
And being in Silicon Valley, it's bring all these geeks together and venture capitalists and bankers to see what is this all about. And for me, to see these people on different levels from different fields was also exciting.
Yeah.
Did you find anything unusual or different from other conferences for yourself?
I actually haven't been at other Bitcoin conferences. This is my first one. But I think what is amazing about it is you see people from, as you said, Silicon Valley, but then you have people from Wall Street, you have venture capitalists, you have libertarians, you have just regular tech geeks, and they're all here because they're excited about this amazing experiment. And I think it's the first time we've ever seen a bridge between Silicon Valley and the stock exchange. When has that ever happened before, that both worlds collided? And that's what Bitcoin does. They're both interested in Bitcoins for their own reasons. And it's the first time we've seen innovation in the finance world in probably hundreds of years.
Right, so internet's bringing us together and all of the people who are behind this. I have a good opportunity to meet them all of those technologists, engineers and scientists bringing it all together. Without it, our life wouldn't be as good as it is.
I agree.
And if you're adventurous, you can step out and do something just like Zach did with his brothers. One brother or two brothers?
It's one brother, and then there's Matt, who's our other co-founder, and it's just the three of us.
That's very good. It's like, in Russia we have a story about three big bagatir, we call them, three guys protecting the whole country, sitting on the horses. And you came up with a new small ATM machine for Bitcoins, and hoping that more and more people will be using those Bitcoins.
Definitely hope so. I think it's the next step for the little guy in the world to regain control of their freedom of expression. I mean, that's, for me, what business is. It's freedom of expression. It's no less important than freedom of speech, being to say what's on your mind. It's being able to improve the world in your own little way. And there's a problem in today's finance world where you can't just do that, because you have the banks, and nobody can just go and open a bank. And you have the stock exchanges, and you can't just go and open your own stock exchange. You have central banks. So everything's kind of being controlled and kept out of the reach of just your regular citizen. And Bitcoin just swoops from underneath and gives that power back to people to trade as they will. And I think that for me, it's as important as the internet was for freedom of speech. Bitcoin is for freedom of expression and freedom of conducting business.
Yes, and doing it anywhere, pretty much.
Anywhere in the world. I mean, it's just as amazing for Western countries as it is for third world countries. And hopefully soon there won't be a difference. There will just be people and ideas.
Yes, like many years ago, except we have a technology behind us.
Exactly.
Before we used to live in the caves, I guess many years.
Right.
Hundreds of thousands of years ago, but now we have technology to unite us and be closer to each other. What would you like to wish for our viewers?
I would like to wish that you obtain Bitcoin as quickly as possible, even if it's a small amount, even if it's the smallest amount, just to get a feel for what it is and how easy it is to use it. And people can talk about Bitcoin for as long as they want, and it just seems so weird and strange until you have it on your phone or on your computer and you just make the smallest little transaction, and that's when your mind clicks and you realize, why would I use cash? Why would I use paper? Why should I count money every time I want to give someone something? Why should I have to pay with a credit card and pay the credit card companies? If I could send money to somewhere all over the world, I can send from China to Australia just as easily as I would give you a dollar bill.
Well, I can see the resistance coming from those organizations against Bitcoins, because they're losing late payment fees and interest rate and all
love
other
that.
things.
Right, so if you want to own your own money, Bitcoin is the only way to do that.
All right. Well, was Zach with us from Lamassu?
Correct.
And thank you for coming to
Thank you
our
so much.
show, Olga's show, and we will see you next time at another Bitcoin conference, and maybe even other conferences where Bitcoin would be the payment for those conferences.